Hello, hello, hello! Welcome, Matt. Welcome to the stream. No, I get to use this model the whole stream, which is an odd concept. I feel like I've been doing nothing but Ghost Trick for the last, like, 3 weeks. Which isn't true. I know I did a few drawing streams in there, but still. Feels like forever since I've actually sat down and used this model the whole stream. Not that I dislike my Ghost Trick model. I actually really like it. Anyway, today is a drawing stream. Hopefully finally getting this drawing done, which would be nice if I do. Oh boy. It's taking me a bit. But I think we'll be doing final touches today, so there's probably going to be a lot of me rambling on about whatever video game comes to mind, because I gotta be honest with myself. It's probably video games. So. Did I forget to grab? Nope, I didn't. I did remember to grab myself water. I did not forget to grab water. I'm like, oh wait, shoot. I definitely want to get some water. There's gonna be a lot of talking. Okay. I need to make sure I have all my windows in order, or else this is going to get really messy. Okay, you go over here. And then the other window I want is this one. I need to move over. No, don't full screen it! Oh wait. Oh hey, I just noticed the little chat thing. Okay. Chat might disappear for a second. Let me see. I just noticed. It doesn't have a little emote button. Why? Okay, if I do this. Okay, yes, I know I got that away. Let's see. Docs. Chat. Are you good? Okay, how does it look on... No, it has it on YouTube. That didn't work. That sucks. Hello, Margaret. Did I say that earlier? I already don't know. Okay, the emote button, little button thingy doodle bopper is gone, and usually that's drawing streams are when they're most useful. That's a little frustrating. Why are you not here? I'm so confused about the stupid button. Sometimes it's here, sometimes it's not. I don't know what's going on. What setting do I have that's different? Actually, I had this last time I drew. I had it for like weeks, and now it's gone again. I don't know. I need to get some Sherlock Holmesian detective on the case of the missing emote button. But in any case, let's get doing details on me drawing myself, because that's not a weird thing to say. I'm not used to drawing myself. Okay, this is transparent, but this is the actual line. That looks weird. That looks funny. It looks weird and funny. I always love taking away the lines for things, because it's either it's really cursed, or you're like, well, that's interesting, and sometimes it's a little bit of both. Alright, how do I want to do the shading? You know what, I'm gonna go try just having a whole layer for the shading. First, let's see if I get a shading color. Flop. Easiest way to figure out. Just stick the color you want to shade with and just see if the layers mesh well together. That's a little too light on the skin. Okay, this was definitely... Yeah, hard light's probably gonna be it. This color is fine. Let me just delete it though. That big old the big old thing, because I don't need that much. Okay. This... Yeah, that should be good. With the pens and stuff here. You know, I don't think I've mentioned it too much, but I just use the base brushes. It's only this top little bit right underneath this select tool. These are all my, like, custom brushes for the most part that I actually use more regularly. I have a few others I downloaded from the shop, which I'm sorry, I have no idea. No idea where like, some of them are in Japanese, so like I can't read this. I literally can't tell you because I don't know what's in Japanese. But they are not my brushes. That's all I can say. But yeah, for the most part, I just use the base Clip Studio Paint Pro brushes. For most, there's probably an update. I need to refresh something. Yeah, I try to refresh the chat box, but... You know what? My computer itself had an update. I wonder if that has a problem with it, because 9 times out of 10, it's probably... It's probably Windows. It's probably Windows, because it does show up in the YouTube window I have. It just doesn't show. Tech is hard. Yeah, it's really hard because I can't even look it up because I'm sure there's solutions to it. But I just have no idea what it's called. Calling it the chat emote button is not very useful because it's like, oh, the chat emote button thing is just, you know, pull it up and there'll be a little tab you click on to pull up the emotes. I'm like, that's not what I'm meaning. It's like, you mean the little emote thing. I'm like, no, that's not what I mean. I mean this button, not that one. And it's really hard to find info because of that. I'm like, what do I call this? And the one thing I had people complaining about it because they were saying it gets in the way of reading chat, which I'm like, yeah, it does, but I'd rather have it there than not, to be honest. Little chat bubbles are fun, but they didn't know what to call it. I don't know what to call it. Oh my god, this is frustrating. It's really hard to look up something when you don't have the terms for it. Okay, so that's the thing. I'll have to poke around, or just hope it'll pop back up again, but nope. I did try. I'm like, refreshing like the whole chat. I wonder, actually, there's a refresh button in OBS for chat. I don't think that's what it does. Is it right click it? Yeah. Nope. That didn't help either. Okay, well, I tried. I tried. I don't know what's going on. I'll poke around. It's so frustrating. It was showing up yesterday. I even know that, and the drawing streams are the perfect time for that. It's a bit frustrating. Why does it keep disappearing when I do drawing streams? Like, just in time for my drawing streams. It's like, bye-bye. Riff for fun. The magic of the world. Will you work? Oh boy. Now I'll do. Oh, you know what? I didn't put on my fan. Oh, it has a built-in fan, but I have an exterior fan for my. I have a lot of fans actually thinking on it for my setup. I didn't turn one of them on. I'll turn it on because I'm using Clip Studio Paint today, and it warms up the lappy top a little bit. And I'm streaming. Always forget something. You're not a streamer unless you forget something. I don't feel too bad about that because I've seen even the company Vtubers mess up on things like that. So I was like, it happens. I'm a little indie. I don't have a manager's son to help me out and point out things. Or, what are they called? Genmates? Yeah, I think. Group mates, gen mates, however you want to phrase it. Whatever term you want to use. As long as it points the right thing, it's fine. Is there missing pixels there? I think. But yeah, I've been playing through Royal a bit more. I'm mostly through Shido's wait, no, it's not the last. It's in Royal, so Persona 5 Royal. It's not the last palace for Royal. It's like second to the last, I think. Unless you want to count the memento stuff. Mild spoilers. Yeah, I just have the boss fight to do, unless I want to run around in Shido's palace for some reason. Which I don't. Even though the ship is kind of Art Deco. Ship is kind of a little bit Art Deco. I was looking around at it. And I also had a thought of, have I really not played this since I took my architecture classes? Because I keep pointing out the architecture of things sometimes. I'm like, oh, that's very neoclassical. I'm like, oh shush! Really? You really needed a comment on that, huh? You cheeky grandma! I bet your grandkids love you. The cheek on this woman. Cheeky monkey. Cheeky mice. At least this is not as bad as the one time. Because when you draw somebody, like, you have to draw all of them. And I was drawing the pants on a male character one time. And my classmates watching me, which, weirdly enough, I didn't have an opinion on them, so I wasn't too bothered by them watching. They're also being quiet, so I'm like, that's fine. If you're just watching, I don't mind. I'm more get anxious when people watch because they inevitably want to ask questions. But she did eventually ask me a question. She's like, isn't it awkward when you have to draw in that area? And I just stopped, looked at her, and went, it is now. I usually don't think about it very much. She was so apologetic. I felt kind of bad, but I was also a little miffed at the time because I'm like, please just, yes. For like art things, it's like, yes, it is probably awkward, but as an artist, we kind of just don't think about it too much other than, does this line placement look good? So yeah. So new little tidbit there for artists. Yeah, we end up drawing things that can be awkward, even though it's a perfectly little innocent art piece. It just just don't bring it up. We know. Believe me, we already know. So yeah. I didn't have a lot of people that would come up and bother me when I was drawing. Everyone would usually be talking amongst themselves, which was nice because then I would just doodle. I've actually figured out I'm very used to drawing when there's a lot of noise, or like it's, well, maybe not a lot of noise, but there's like people talking and stuff around me. I should probably look up more see if I can find collab streams. Maybe. And put them on. That might be something to do. Maybe I'll be more creative because it's what I'm used to drawing as, is having all my classmates chat around me. Like, even in college it was that way. It's been that way for a long time. I'm just used to having people chatting around me when I'm drawing. I say that as if I don't draw quietly at home, but still. I still drew a lot I had classes and stuff. So I make it no secret I have been to college and all that. I'm using American terms, by the way, in case anyone gets confused. Please just Google it. There's probably a nice little distinct paragraph explaining the schooling system. If you need that, I'm just saying. Instead of me haphazardly explaining it here, just please look it up. It'll be quicker and probably more easier to understand, I promise. What the heck are my cats doing? Hello? Oh, they're getting played with by the other folk. Okay. I'm like, are you up to mischief or are you playing? I can't tell. They are playing. Somebody found a laser pointer and the cats are getting played with. Anyway, let's see. What was I talking about? Oh, right. Persona 5. Royal, in particular. So I'm just about to get to the royal stuff. And I nearly have all the confidants up, which I honestly was not expecting. I don't know if I can get them all up, because I have Haru left to go. I think I have one confidant with her to get her max. And then I need Futaba, who hasn't wanted to hang out, and it's kind of annoying. I'm like, Futaba! And since she wasn't there, I was like, well, or it was like Vtubers and Haru both didn't want to hang out that day, so I'm like, well, I guess I'll go to Shido's palace. I'm like, hi, cat. What's up? Not the laser pointer. Why are you in the hallway? Confused Urion noises. Like, why are you here? Anyway, yeah, I was a bit annoyed about that, so then I ended up doing Shido's palace, even though I didn't really want to. So it's like, right before bed, had sad stuff. I don't know if it's safe to do... Well, it's not royal stuff, it's Persona 5 stuff, so I guess that's kind of free game. I don't... Well, I do know the royal stuff. I've got... Y'all... Apparently Persona Royal fans were really bad at keeping a lot of the... Like, I didn't know shite about the regular P5 story. Like, I was surprised by everything. For some reason, when it came to Royal, everyone was spoiling everything. There are literal whole just tags that are just spoilers, like commonly used tags for one character who has an alternate name, which is a spoiler, and I'm like, really? Really, guy? Oh, it's really annoying. Remum's a word about the main game, but heaven for... not at all the same for the end game, and I'm just so confused about it. I mean, of course, now if there's a lot of spoilers, I mean, like, it's been out for a while, so it's, like, my own fault, but it was, like, right out the get-go, and I was very confused about it, because everyone was really good at the original base game. Perfectly fine. Royal content? Oh no. Cat's out of the bag. Cat's out of the bag everywhere, and I'm just like, what changed? I'm so confused. And a little annoyed. Also, hello, Farouk. You caught me when I was ranting a little bit. Sorry, I guess. But it was very annoying. Going into tags and then having a bunch of things spoiled about the new content. Like, why? It's so weird what people end up spoiling or not, but I guess if people are spoiling it, it's probably because it's not that exciting. Come to think of it, that usually is the trend. If people spoil it, it doesn't usually matter if you know or not, I've noticed. I just think it's a moment of everyone going, it was released X years ago. Oh, no, I'm not talking about recently. I'm talking about it's been out only a week and people were spoiling, like, all the new content. And I'm like, really, guys? Like, even a month after, which I would say, yeah, you can loosen up a little bit, but, like, you still want to tag it and stuff. But they have also just the whole hog, just tags. Because I mentioned, like, one of the alternate tags for a character has another name. But as soon as you know both names, you know what's up. Like, it's a spoiler in it itself. And I'm sitting here going, really? Really? I had no idea. I was so annoyed. It's really annoying. At this point, I'm like, I give up. I give up on the spoilers. But, you know, strangely, it's been years now, and there's less spoilers, except for the one naming thing, because it is a common tag. Now everyone's like, nope, not saying anything. Nope, nope, nope. Oh yeah, something happens on this date, but we are not elaborating. And I'm like, why are you more moms about the... confused. Yeah, I guess people were really excited, but again, I'm like, I think it's... like, you can kind of tell, like, if it's really game impacting, they don't spoil it. Spoil it? Yeah, why am I having trouble saying that word now? You don't get as many spoilers if it's like no one spoils Ghost Trick because they're like, no, you should experience that for yourself. Like, you should have a chance to see if you can figure it out as you play the game, what the big mystery is. So I guess the fact that people were not keeping it hidden is either A, it was really obvious to begin with, or like, it's like, cool, the character cares a whole lot, but you as a player is like, yeah, whatever. And I don't know what to think about it, but there you go. There's my little tirade on Persona 5 Royal spoilers. I didn't finish reading your comment there, Krug. But there are literally new people born every day and they're gonna grow. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, give people I would say, like, 2 months, maybe 2-3 months, because there are people who it takes them a while because they have to wait for a paycheck, or like a couple of paychecks to be able to afford things. At least that's how I do it. I'm like, not everyone buys it day and week one. Some people do. I'd say most games, especially for... I'm not at the royal content, and somehow this playthrough is taking me longer. I have like 150 hours in it. I completed the first, like, just base vanilla Persona in like, oh, I'd say probably 130-ish hours. I can't go check because my sister played right after me. So I can't check the playtime. I could check the file, maybe. I could do that, but I don't know what it is. But I know it took me, for sure, at least about 120 hours. It's probably a little more than that, so probably 130 is safe. That might be a little over, actually. But yeah. I was like, good golly gosh, this game is long. You don't want to have spoilers and all that. There's plenty that people didn't mention. But yeah. I do have to say, I really like how Akechi has a proper confidant. I'm probably very biased about that because he is voiced by Robbie Daymond. And I like most of Robbie Daymond's characters that he voices. I think the only real exception is that he voices the Green King in the K series, and I'm like, I hate that character so much. He's such a brat. I don't like him. He kind of is just like, I'm the villain, and I'm like, I don't like you, Lee. So, I don't think I don't even know if season 2 has been voice acted in English. I'll have to see. He only voices a few lines in the movie. There's very few lines, but still he is the VA. But yeah. Let's see. What should... What was like my favorite interaction? Oh, you know what? I didn't realize the option from when Akechi's sitting in LeBlanc and you can say, honey, I'm home to him, which he completely ignores, by the way, which is, I think, which I found kind of hilarious. But I forgot how late game that interaction was. I'm like, I could have sworn this was earlier. I guess it felt like an earlier interaction. Is it weird to say I like seeing Akechi and LeBlanc? Why don't you just stick around here, hang out a little? You look like you need it. Warm drink, calm atmosphere, usually nobody but Sojiro's around. You don't have to put up a mask all the damn time. You can just relax. But yeah. Speaking of, I am, just to avoid a little spoilers, just because, I don't know, maybe some people have never played Persona 5, or they only got old enough right now and they're watching. So they've never got a chance to play the M-rated game yet until recently. But the fight with Black Mask, which, if you know, you know, that was a lot more interesting the second time around, I gotta say, because I knew it was coming. I was able to see the lead up better. Also, you know, I know the full story, so I understand the dialogue better. I got the full story about that. So that was cool. That was interesting. I felt so bad. I'm like, I felt bad the first time doing this. It hasn't gotten any better. It's gotten worse. I don't know. Have any of y'all had cutscenes where you're like, oh, I don't like this, but it doesn't, I guess, frazzle you too much, but you still like, I'm you know, just unhappy noises. But then you get to that part again, and you're like, why is it so much worse? I don't know. Is there any other? Ugh. Yeah, been there. I wonder what other games have that. Have I had? I guess more importantly, am I going to be able to remember? I guess there are some points, because I've been, my sister, she's been playing Tales of Arise again. She's New Game Plusing it, so she's just like one-shotting. She was only until recently one-shotting like everything. You even have one of those unwinnable fights against an enemy, and she's like, whoa, I got this to half health. And it's like a time thing, so it's supposed to be survive long enough to finish rather than, you know, actually fight. So it's one of those survive for X amount of time and you win kind of things, I guess. But yeah, she's like, I'm gonna kick this guy's butt when I get to the end. I thought that was funny. But then again, she's beaten. She played this the first time all on her own. It's one of like the few, I think, big games like that that we've not played together. Which is okay. I'm enjoying I've been playing Persona Royal and she's playing Tales of Arise, and I look up every time there's cutscenes. I'm so glad. So yeah, she just got Dohalim, which I'm only mentioning because Dohalim is my favorite character, because he's a little nerd boy about art and stuff like that. I can relate to him. I could totally have a conversation about ancient artifacts and artistic things, and I'm like, it's the art person, I'm gonna like them, unless they're weird about it, then I'm like, ah. I guess it's more of, if they're an art history kind of person, then I'm like, my people. Or at least one of my people. Kinds of people, that kind of moment. Okay, I don't know how to do the shadows here. The lines are also messy. Ah! Maybe I need a smaller brush. Yeah, I've been enjoying that my sister's gotten far enough into the playthrough that Dohalim's around, and I'm like, yay! I forgot also how many cutscenes you can get with Renwal and Dohalim talking about the artifacts you can get in that game. Because she's New Game Plus, she just got them all at once. Because she has them all. So I was kind of laughing about it. It's just one cutscene after another of Dohalim and Renwal just enthusing about these ancient artifacts. It's kind of adorable, honestly. So it's been fun. That's been fun. Oh yeah, maybe it's because I wasn't fully paying attention. That might be it, but the whole cutscene before Dohalim freaks the heck out is not as impactful the second time around. But then again, I was also not fully paying attention, so that might have been a part, but oof. as definitely one that could get worse on your second playthrough because you know what's going to happen. You're like, oh, I see all the warnings. Yikes. Yeah, I like Tales of Arise. Definitely... I have to say, out of the group of characters, I'd say I like Tales of Vesperia's crew the most still, with Yuri Lowell and Estelise, I think is her full name. I do like the addition of Patty. I know people were saying that she's actually meshes well, because there's a bunch of people who were... I don't hate her, but I'm also worried how she'll shift the group dynamic, and everyone's like, actually, she's a good addition. And I'm like, yeah, she is. I just wish she would stop flirting at Yuri. I know. I actually have not beaten it yet, because I wanted to do something with Raven. I don't quite remember, but I need to use a skill like 100 and... Wait, no, not 100. 250 times, and it lets me... I think it's to get his weapon, the special weapon. I think that's it. I don't even know if it's worth doing, because I don't know if I can get Judith's. Because her weapon is... you can get to the end of the game and miss something and not be able to get it. It has cutscene, or not cutscene, side quest related stuff. And if you don't do the side quests, you're kind of SOL, and I need to check. Yeah, I really like Tales of Vesperia. That is definitely one of my favorites. I think my third favorite, let's see. No, it's, yeah, Tales of Vesperia is my first. And then I'd say my second favorite group is probably the Tales of Arise group. They're so much fun. They just scream found family, so that's like big bonus points. I guess that's also kind of why Vesperia's group also gets high marks for me, because it has a lot of found family vibes. It's also kind of fun because the typical group dynamic, Yuri doesn't fit as the typical leader protag character. He's actually matches the Lancer, so you're literally playing the Lancer archetype. So I'm like, that's probably why people find Yuri so cool, because people usually find the Lancers more interesting and cooler. And you get to play as Yuri. And he is definitely more interesting. So I'd say my third favorite Tales of group is the Tales of Abyss group with Luke Von Fabre, Tyr Grants, and Jade. I freaking love Jade. Again, there's a little tiny bit of found family kind of dynamics in there with Jade and Luke. Because Jade's like reluctant dad, like, not even reluctant dad noises. He's like, he is dad shape, but he also, like, if you point it out, he will stop being dad. If you just let him be incognito dad, he will be a dad, and it's great. He is science dad, and I love him for it. Jade's a really cool character. I did partially replay through that game, and it is very much fun. Like, cause, you know, I'm replaying it, I know what's happening. To see just how to put it? Just how soon, or like immediately, Jade's like, ah, I think I know what's going on. And then you like 3 story beats later, Jade's like, oh, I was correct. I was guessing this like a month ago. And they're like, why didn't you tell us? He's like, because I wasn't sure and I didn't want to freak anyone out. And I'm like, Jade, at this point, just tell people things. You're pretty good at this. Which I guess he does kind of do at the end. Like, he just is more upfront about stuff because he's like, nah, I have enough info if it's a guess. I'm probably right. I didn't play that on the PlayStation. I played that on the DS, by the way, the Tales of Abyss. That'd be cool to get a remaster for, to be honest. I know it's one of the more popular ones, too. Right up there with, let's see. I think Vesperia, Symphonia, and Abyss are like the most popular ones, I want to say. There does seem to be a lot of No, you know, actually no. Sore in the game where you play as Sore, who's also voiced by Robbie Damon. And I also like him as a character. I don't like that game. The main story is a train wreck. Literally everything else about that game is good. I can't stand the main story. I should probably pick it up again and just sort of skip through the main story dialogue, which I know is heinous, but maybe it's also just I kind of want to play it again because I know people are like, oh wow, Mickleo and Sorry, I totally like each other. But as a twin, I'm like, oh my god, they have such twin vibes. Sorry and Mickleo come off as such twins to me, which only made me go like, I'm starting to realize why people there's that persistent myth that throughout like the whole world without even like cross-culture things that twins are like reincarnated lovers or something like that who didn't want to part. And I'm like, no, twins just be like that. We know, we've literally spent our whole lives together. We know each other well, at least when we like each other. Because fun thing about twins, we either hate each other's guts or we get along scarily well to the point we can have conversations and then there's people near us who are like, I have no idea what you just said. Because I've had that happen so many times. I'll be talking to my sister within my own friend group and have friends be sitting there going blink, 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 blink at me going, what did I just listen? I didn't understand any of that. And then I have to, me and my twin have to explain what we just were talking about. So like, I get it. That's a lot of how people write, look how lovey-dovey they are. They just get each other on the same wavelength. But I'm like, that's not an exclusively couple thing, speaking as a twin. That's just, you know the person thing. Gosh damn. It's another why I'm an advocate. I'm like, please raise your friend standards, please. Also learn the word acquaintance, because my gosh, there's so many people who get upset, like, my friend betrayed me. And I hear how they like interact with each other and I'm like, that wasn't a friend, that was an acquaintance. Oh my gosh, can we please make this a common word? I think people would be less hurt about certain things. Like business is acquaintance, friendly business people. Like that's a thing too. Like in the online artist world, you can be like VTubers especially, oh my gosh. I'm like, guys, it is okay to be friendly like business partners. It's like you'll do things that are mutually beneficial to each other, but you won't really help each other outside of that. Like, that's okay. You can have that type of relationship, and it does not make you scummy. It just makes you like business acquaintances or partners or whatever. Kind of more dealy bob. I'm like, please, it's okay. Please, I keep seeing these people get hurt feelings, and I'm like, sigh. It's like, it's because they weren't a friend. They were a business acquaintance. And that's how they work. That's how you do. Not saying you have to like each other or still hang out, but like, I don't know what you were expecting. Oh my gosh. Okay. Probably should avoid that topic a little more, but just TLDR, please expand your viewpoints about how relationships can be. There's a lot of them. Use some of them. It'd be sad if twins not get along. Yeah, it usually means when twins don't get along, it's because their parents and other relatives or whoever raises them forces them to be like the same, that matchy-matchy. I mean, on one hand, because this has absolutely happened, you kind of brainwash them into doing that, or more likely, they'll absolutely hate each other. Because they get so tired of being compared together, they just hate each other. And it's not anything personal, they just hate being compared so much that they can't stand to be near one another. And it is kind of sad, because I've only met, personally, at least one set of twins that was like that. And oh my gosh, they had like You ever seen those Mean Girl movies with the Mean Girls squabbling with each other? It was like that all the time. All the time. And I was just so sad. And I think my twin sister talked to one of them, and she wanted to know how we got along so well. I think that's why we know that they were compared a lot. That's why they ended up hating each other. So, yeah. They might have been able to get along. I mean, gosh, it's been freaking years. I mean, they might have been in a situation now where they weren't compared all the time. So they might have a good relationship now because they're not constantly compared to each other, but yeah, at the time, it was really sad. I gotta say. My sister and I were just kind of like hanging out with each other going like, we're not gonna be like that. You don't hate getting compared to that. And we got really worried. We're like, that's not happening to us, is it? And we're like, no, it's not. Because thankfully, our mama went to other twins and was like, what's the things that I absolutely should not do? Like, what are the do's and the don'ts of twins? And they're like, absolutely do not compare them to each other. Like, if you buy a shirt, it could be like, you know, a long sleeve turtleneck, but get different colors, because if you don't get them both a long sleeve turtleneck, they might get upset, at least until they're older, because then you might learn that one of them really does like those long sleeve turtlenecks, but the other one would much prefer a hoodie. So, you know, things like that. And it's like, they'll grow to be their own people, and just until you learn it, or until they, like, figure out, I guess more importantly, their likes and dislikes. It's okay to get similar things, but don't get exact things. Unless it's toys, then sometimes, yes, get the same thing. So I will say that for some reason, the best example really is just, you'll get one twin a blue ball, another twin, like, a purple ball, and they're like the same ball. They're literally just different colors, but they'll just be arbitrarily decided that the purple ball is cooler. And I know it's stupid, but things like that did also happen. Full disclosure, that did happen. So it's like, when it came to toys, it's okay to get matching toys. Yes, very much. That's why I'm not at all. I would say it every single video if I could, because, hey, somebody might find the info useful. Okay, how much did I cover here? Okay. I think I need a little do a bit more on the face, but then I think I'm okay. But yeah, definitely treat your twins as two separate people as much as possible. But when they're like little kids, get them those same toys, because again, they'll just arbitrarily decide one is better than the other just because it's a different color. I know it's dumb, but it's just, that will happen until like they're about 10 years old, I would say. Like, that feeling doesn't go away. I think sometime after, like, around 10 or after 10, they'll start going, you know what? I actually do prefer the blue items. My twin can have the purple, and the other twin will still like the purple. So, like, until you figure it out. Don't be afraid to ask things either. Like, ask each twin, what's your favorite color? Because if, you know, like, one's favorite color is like orange and the other one like cyan blue, and you get them balls in their respective favorite color, they're going to think that their favorite color ball is the best ball kind of instance. So, like, don't be afraid to ask, because oh my gosh, there was a few times where I wished my relatives would have just asked. I don't need everything to be a surprise. I'd much prefer if you asked. Got some clarification. It is okay. Believe me, it is okay. Alright. Let's see, this is like the overall shading. I might do some more detail shading in some bits, but okay. Oh, it's already on hard light. Okay. About right there. Is that good? Yeah. I think I might do, where is it? It's in filter, blur, classic blur. It just blurs the edges. I'm gonna have to get a little bit near the edge of things for some of the stuff. That's okay. I always found that even if you want, unless you're doing like hard shell shading, cell shading, like in Ghost Trick. Ghost Trick has very hard shell shading, but on the norm, you want to have like the edges slightly blurred. I've noticed it helps a little, even though it's only just like barely noticeable. I don't know why, but let's just say monkey brain things, as I like to put it. Monkey brain get happy when shadows are not super sharply defined. Okay. The arm, though. I want this to be more blurred. I mean, come to think of it, I haven't heard anything about Tales of games lately. I should look into that. I have absolutely no idea what they're doing. Like, I have zero idea. Are they doing phone games over in Japan right now? I know there have been a few phone games, because one closed, and it actually seemed to have an interesting story, so that was kind of a bummer, to be honest. Even though I never played and only knew about this after it was shut down. I was like, oh, this actually looks like an interesting story. But then again, I guess it was also one of those stories you could easily botch up, so, who knows? Not me. I'll have to go look to see. Well, that's maybe not have to, but probably it might be interesting to go look up, see if there's any Tales of game news or not. Might be nice. I think the last time I've heard any news was that the people might have been wanting to do some remakes for some of the older games. Which I would hope that would mean... I mean, I don't think Vesperia quite needs a remake. I mean, you definitely could do stuff to make it better and all that, but... like, Abyss and Symphonia would be pretty good to remake. Even though, ironically, I haven't finished Symphonia, but have played through most of it. And I think I actually like Dawn of the New World better. Which I know is a hot take within the fandom. Because people did not like Dawn of the New World. I think they've warmed up to it. Or Knights of Ragnarok, I think is also the subtitle for the Symphonia sequel. Whatever you call it. Where you play as Emil. That... oh gosh, was that my first Tales of game? I think it was? I think it was my first. It also has a Monster Tamer aspect into it. So I was surprised to learn that wasn't in every game. I was really surprised. I'm like, oh, that was a Dawn of the New World thing. You didn't even do that in really Tales of Symphonia. So that was interesting to learn because I was completely clueless. I did have a lot of fun with that. It was a lot of fun having the little Monster Tamer elements in that game. You didn't have to really use them at all because you did have the main crew, and definitely people on the norm tend to be better than the monsters you could get. But it was still fun. I still had a lot of fun. I actually liked Emil and Marta. Lloyd was certainly an interesting character. I had no idea how he actually acted, though. You only get him a little bit at the end, so it's sort of like you get Lloyd at his most serious. Lloyd Irving, that is. He's the original protagonist of the original Tales of Symphonia game, for anyone who doesn't know that. Needs some a little more info there. Yeah, he's a little goofy. Mostly typical clueless shonen. Shonen. Yeah, okay, I'm not getting confused with shoujo. I do that more than I should. But yeah, shonen protag of somewhat clueless, very well-meaning do not touch his friends, he will get pissed, kind of thing. Very, of the era, kind of, pro-tag there. So, I think that was, like, one of the main complaints, was that Lloyd was out of character, but I'm like, he kind of is in character from what I know of him playing through the game, because, you know, I know the sequel, what he does in the sequel, so I was looking to see if there's any correlation, but I'm like, yeah, it's not really at the first, but when you get further in the game, like, I could see it. I can see how he would act in the second game as in this, so it is there. Sort of like, what was another thing that people are like, they're out of character, but then I was like playing, I knew that was the take, because it was like another sequel thing, and I played one of the sequel games before the earlier games. Oh, yeah, Ace Attorney with Phoenix Wright. Like, everyone's like, Hobo Nick is so out of character. I'm like, have you played the first games? It's actually pretty in character. I knew of Hobo Nick before I played the original trilogy, so I was looking to see if it really was out of character, but no, Nick when he's not having a good time, does do some pretty extreme things. Man is not afraid to bend some rules. I also saw a recent post of somebody going like, I don't know why people think Phoenix being dodgy about things is out of character, because he does it all the time. And they just listed a bunch of trilogy game things. I'm like, yeah, he really do. It's mostly for in-game reasons of not telling the player too much, but I'm like, you know, too many things, but you tend to hear it when you're playing as him, because, you know, whatever character you're playing as in the Ace Attorney games, you get to hear their thoughts. Well, you don't have that when you're playing as Apollo talking to Phoenix. So I'm like, no, he's not out of character. We just don't have the inner dialogue of why he's doing things, so it feels out of character, because you're literally out of the character's head. So yeah, that was interesting. It's very interesting when the protagonist becomes a character. You know, it's a protagonist is a non-playable character, at least for a good length of the game. I've seen people do character deep dives on Phoenix, and yeah, the biggest problem is now you are not in his head, so these traits are very obvious now. Yeah. You don't get little flashback sequences of Phoenix going, yeah, I don't want to talk about this lost lover I have. No, it's too painful. What it was only told externally is, Phoenix, I ain't telling you anything. It's that kind of thing. I'm like, yeah, internal dialogue is important. It also makes me laugh because people compared the Apollo Justice game a lot to the investigation games that came, the Miles Edgeworth investigation games at the time, because those were the other, like, the most recent in the Ace Attorney series besides the original trilogy. But Apollo Justice was made by the guy who started, so that's Shu Takumi, yeah. It was made by Shu Takumi, I think. Unless I'm getting mixed up. Because I know there's like a few, you know, people who did the Ace Attorney series, so I think it was Shu. I'll have to double check. Because, you know, it might have been like, oh yeah, he was the original producer, but this was the director. You know, whatever. I'm like, I need to go double check. But I do know it was one of the OG people that was, it was probably Shu. Shu Takumi, by how people were talking about it. But that game has such mixed reception. Honestly, I think it mostly just suffers because you're not playing as Phoenix. Because people did not have as much problems with let's see, it was Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice. Did not have as many issues, and you do get to play a little bit as Phoenix in both. So I'm like, I think it's more because, like, I mean, you even have moments where you're going against Phoenix at times. Also, poor Apollo, oh my gosh. That poor boy has such a tragic story. His whole... I'm like, hey, Apollo's whole life story, up even until, like, the ending of the games, is, like, it's so unbelievably tragic. Well, not unbelievably, but it's, you know, it's heart-wrenchingly tragic. Apollo never has a good day in his life, it feels like. Holy cow, his whole situation is so darn messy. You feel bad for the poor man. I almost said boy, but he actually is full grown. I need to remember that. He just comes off as small. What does that sound? I think somebody's using power tools. Is that... Hold on, let me... Okay, that's not catching. I'm like, let me be quiet for a second and stare at my audio. Okay. Only I can hear it, so it's only bothering me, which is okay. Yeah. Skit. Highlights. I'm just rambling off on all the video games. Yeah. If you guys want to interject with a game to talk about or wondering what my thoughts are on something, like, feel free. It is a little more casual. I don't have to bring the video game up for y'all to mention it when I'm drawing like this. I would say I'd open the door for VTubers, but I don't know so many VTubers that... I'm like, I'm not gonna know who that person is. Also, there's so many, and I don't need to be flooded with a bazillion questions about this VTuber, that VTuber, so I'm still off the table. But if you want thoughts and opinions on a certain game or genre of kind of games, like what's your thoughts on roguelikes, which I'll tell you right now, I'm not overly fond of. Now, I have been very tempted at times to go play Hades. Because well-written cast of characters, interesting overarching story with a lot of family stuff, like becoming a functional family again. Like, hello? That sounds interesting, that's my jam. But I'm also like, I really haven't, what is it? Dungeon crawlers have kind of overlapping elements with roguelikes, and I can't say I'm the biggest fan of dungeon crawlers. Though I did like the first two Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games. I have not liked the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game, I think, after that. Not that I think they were totally bad, but oh my gosh. There's a lot more misses than hits. Especially one of them, where you literally have to not play. There's like a side thing you can do, which is sort of like, have fun going through the dungeons. It's not connected to the main story, but it's still your own separate little group. So you kind of, it's a game with kind of two adventuring groups you get in that game. But you kind of have to, because that's the only way you can get items. It was so weird. I don't understand why they did that. Because I'm like, you do realize people play the Mystery Dungeon games mostly for the story and characters within, you know, the story. Like, when you hear about Mystery Dungeon games, that is what people are talking about. And they didn't do very well on the story, and the characters felt flat because of that. I wouldn't say they're bad characters, but like, when the story doesn't let anyone do anything, you don't really get to see the character shine, and it was very frustrating. Though I think it's a Gates of Infinity. I did manage to get attached to, I think it was the last Mystery Dungeon one that actually came out. That was not like the remake, which I didn't get because I heard one of the mechanics they switched. They took away the gummy system in the remake and then implemented one of the mechanics that I absolutely do not like. And I'm like, nope, I'm not getting that, not worth it. I'm just gonna play my old copy on my DS. Thank you. I don't need this remake. I do not like it. Even though it has more Pokemon, because like, I think they added more new Pokemon in it. I don't think they added a whole bunch of new, but I know they added Mega Evolutions, because that was the thing during the time, but I was just, no. I'm not playing this. I do not like This is the highlight. I should probably label it. Highlight. But I don't think I've ever hated any of the Mystery Dungeon games. I've just been disappointed. Like, it could be better. I probably wouldn't buy it again, but I also don't want to give away my copy, you know? So it's not terrible. I don't think any of them are terrible. There's other games I definitely would rather play more. Let's see. Shading. So yeah. In my opinion, there hasn't been any completely, utterly just, I don't want to play this at all kind of Mystery Dungeon game. But if they were to put out a new one, I'm not sure if I would get it, because I think I would wait. I would definitely wait on it. Speaking of waiting on a game, I still do have Octopath Traveler 2. I might... For reasons, making schedules has been a little difficult, and I wasn't sure if I should play it this week. I'm half tempted to make the rest of this week playing Octopath Traveler 2, but I might hold off on that. I don't know what do y'all miceys think? Oh, I might want to do... I have been thinking about doing a Halloween October model. I don't know how much I would use it. But I also don't have any, like, spookier games. Playing through Ghost Trick, like, I couldn't wait to play Ghost Trick any longer, but I'm like, I really, you know, I really should have waited, you know, more to play Ghost Trick. I have not played the first Octopath Traveler game. I do know of the story. What cat is eating flowers? Matsu, stop eating the flowers! You crazy old cat! I'm sorry, I just hear in the background. Stop eating the flowers! I'm like, there's only... out of the dogs and cats we have in the house, the only ones that try to eat the flowers are the cats. What cat is trying to eat flowers? But no, I have not played the first Octopath Traveler. I do know of the stories. Like, I know all the character stories. Not so much, I guess, the individual side quest kind of stories, which I've been told is pretty good. Does that actually help? Yes, it does. Alright. That's not, like, stopping from shading working how I want it to work. I might need that to be darker. But yeah, I do know of what happens. I even know the 5th chapter. I don't think I'd want to do that. But, so, I can jump into Octopath Traveler 2, and it's fine. I'd probably be able to recognize some parallels if they have it. I'm looking forward to it, because I've heard this one has... You have to have certain characters and have done certain quests. Oh, you know, I just realized. Here's why this is not doing how I think it's supposed to be doing this. I need to click that button. There, now it's only working on the shading, and now it's actually dark. Whoop-de-doo. But yeah, Octopath Traveler 1 is free game in terms of story and characters. I haven't played it at all, so I have no opinions on play. But I have recently figured out I am more okay with turn-based than I have been since when I was younger. I have more of patience for it now. But still, you won't see me playing any, like, you really have to, like, oh gosh. I think the Shin Megami Tensei is pretty hardcore. You really gotta pay attention, you really gotta know the systems. Like, you're not gonna see me play a game like that. Plus, those are way too sad, usually. I don't like tragedies very much, though I do hope the games do well, because they are very interesting. Mr. Long-haired person duder. That I know is so specific. I'm gonna have a drink break. But yeah, the protagonist for the recent one, you know, I took out the color palette here because I thought I would use it. I did not. I can, you know, shrink this down now. Weep. I don't think I'm gonna use it. I don't, again, I don't want to get away the, what do you call that? The widget? Was it widget? Was that the word they use? I don't want to get away. No, that was for something else. What do they call the little window things? Besides, do they call them? Yeah, they just call them windows, right? They just call them windows. I don't want to completely close down the window because then I won't remember how to pull it back up. And I have to spend like 15 minutes trying to figure out how to do that. So I'm just gonna shrink it. Okay, hydrated. Oh, drop the top. I still like. I love when a water bottle's just like only a little bit empty, and you shake it and goes splish splasha. There we go. I'm so scientific, I know. All right. I think for the shading on the skin tones needs to be a brighter, more warm color. This makes me look. This is like very Touch Detective shading. Come to think of it, everyone looks kind of deadish. Yep. I think I've mentioned Octopath Traveler 1. Therian is my favorite. I don't say this as much as I would have thought I would, but if there is a noble thief type character, like they're not stealing things just for the funsies and to screw people over. Well, unless they're like Robin Hood type. I guess you could say the more Robin-esque and adjacent kind of thieves. Like, this is a thief Robin Hood could get along with kind of thing. Even though that's not saying too much, I think. That man can befriend like anybody if he wishes to. He's either driving people up the wall or he's befriending them. There's no in between. Okay, that's better. And, but yeah, if there's a thief character or thief kind of adjacent or like character, they're my favorite. Not gonna lie, I have a soft spot, the biggest soft spot, so like... Oh gosh, it's a really old one. I mean, it wasn't even new when I got into it, the series, but there's DN Angel, which is on, as far as I know, indefinite hiatus. It didn't actually get a finish. The anime did, but I think the ending is mixed. Like, yeah, it's an ending, yeah, it makes sense, but it's also like, I guess not very, how to put it, satisfying. Like, it makes sense, but it's not very satisfying of an ending. I'm like, at least it ended and not on a cliffhanger. Because, of course, it went on hiatus, as far as I know, indefinitely, on a hit cliffhanger. A very confusing one at that. It's like, what is going on? Okay, I need to do this. So yeah, but I did like... I get a hoot out of that, it has dual protagonists, and I like them both. But there's Dark Mousy is his actual name, and it makes me laugh, because everybody knows his name is Dark, just because that's just what people ended up calling him. But I'm like, why is his name Dark Mousy? Why is his last name Mousy? And it makes me laugh. And I know somebody's like, oh, he's gotta have a cooler name in Japanese, but then his last name is also just like has rat or mouse on it. His name literally is like Dark Mousy. It's Dark Mouse. I was laughing so hard. He's such a cool character. He's a pretty interesting and cool character, but then he has the funniest name ever. Such a silly name. Last name, I guess, more of than the first name. Dark, it's just something you would expect like a middle schooler to name, given at least how I've heard people name things, but I'm like, yeah, whatever. We have people called like Shadow and Raven, so I'm like, whatever. It's a basic name, but it works. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just simple. Basic. Nothing, you know, too creative, but it's fine. Totally fine. Nothing wrong with it. But then it's Mousy. I'm like, I can't take him seriously anymore, knowing his last name is Mousy. But I still liked him as a character, and like, I have all the Jing King of Bandits books. So both the original series, which is about 7 books long. No, wait. The original series is 6 books. The Twilight Tales is 7 books, and that's when Jing is a little older. Not that we ever know his actual age. We're never given an age for him. But I would say he's like about 15 in the original series, and then he's about, I'd say, 18 to 20 in the Twilight Tales. My bet's probably more on 20. And I find that series really interesting because I was just being brutally honest. The mangaka was not the best at drawing at first. They weren't terrible, but, you know, it needed some polishing up. And so to see their art go from how it started to the end is so cool to see. And it'd probably give some people motivation, like, hey, this was kind of like a cult classic. It was popular enough to get a video game in Japan. I will say that. It was popular enough to get a video game. It has an anime. I think Funimation holds the rights to it, last I know of. Don't know how up to date that info is. The last I heard, Funimation has the rights. Yeah, I have the anime, which I was very excited about getting because I, like, just barely even knew it existed. And then my friend got it for me for my birthday or Christmas. I can't remember which right now. I think it was Christmas because we do celebrate that here in this house. It's not that big of a thing. It's more of like, it's the holiday you visit family and give gifts. That's about all it is in my house. Well, I guess I'm not really celebrating it. It's just so much as the day, it's the gift giving day and you go hang out with your family. So I guess I don't really, but I kind of do. It's complicated. Let's just drop it. Celebrate what you want to celebrate. Don't celebrate what you don't celebrate. It's fine. Just be polite, please. Please. But anyway, I got it as a present from a friend is the long and short of it. And I got ridiculously excited. And I immediately watched it. And I gotta say, Jing's voice actor, like, has done nothing really, like, the most major role that guy had was voicing Jing. He's not done anything else, but he had such a cool voice. And he did very good job voicing Jing, in my opinion, at least. For whatever that's worth. And I'm just like, why does he sound so cool? I mean, I'm happy about it, but I'm also like, dang, I wasn't expecting him to sound so cool. I mean, pleasantly surprised. And pretty good voice delivery, to be honest. I like that series. One of the fun things to see from manga, I think. I haven't seen more recent stuff, but one is the same way, but more extreme. Has he improved? I haven't heard about him improving. I know he has somebody else drawing the panels. Like, I know from like a line and shape perspective, but I think he doesn't draw the webtoon as best he can. He does keep it pretty, that janky kind of sketchiness. I haven't actually seen what he draws like recently, because there's that, what was it called? Eye Shield? You can find, if you find old manga, you will find Eye Shield promotions. It's a, I don't think it's football. I think it's American football. Yeah, I think it's an American football story, which was kind of weird, to be honest, that ended up being such a popular series. And it's American football, which is like only liked in, you know, America. So I've always been surprised that one was popular enough. But yeah, the mangaka, or not mangaka, the artist for that one helped with drawing One Piece in the manga. But I do know, I have heard, at least on the grapevine, I haven't seen it myself, that one has gotten a lot better. Like, there were some things. Oh, Oh, yeah. If one actually drew the Mob Psycho manga, that's pretty good. Good job, one. Your efforts have been seen for what it's worth. Just chunky lines. I need to make that line better. Okay. Oh, I need a stretch. Okay. Put that down for a second. Okay, yeah, you know what? Now that you mention it, I think I've also heard somebody mention that. Oh gosh. Okay, hey, while I'm giving some stretches in here because I need some stretches, I'm sorry. Pause break. What is like, let's see. I see a lot of the Mob Psycho anime. Psycho. Yeah, Mob Psycho 100. Let's click that. Why did it not add the 100? Okay, well, I can add the 100 myself, but okay, here we go. Let's say the manga. I want to see these pages. Ooh! One drew this? It seemed like it might have had some brushes there, but like everyone does that. Oh, wow. He really did get better. Oh, I'm so happy! Good job, one! That's so neat! I didn't know that. Not really, at least. Like, not fully. That's so cool! Okay. Oop. That's so cool. I love hearing that. That's awesome. Good for him. I'm very pleased with that news. Oh, right. The shading is still jank there. Oh, gosh. I forgot about that. Where are the lines? Yeah. No, not that. That's Leona. Well, that's me. I'm just reading the file folder here. And then I'm like, wait, that's also my name. That's so weird to say. That's me. Now I understand why people say it that way. It's so weird to refer to yourself. Okay, wait, hold on. I grab this tool, grab it here. Yay, it takes me through the correct layer. Yeah. Okay, oh gosh, what did I do? No. Okay, I didn't actually move the layer. Okay, good. This is there. Okay, that is what I wanted to do. Okay, that's really neat. Like that one has gotten better. Because I know that he's always been, even from the beginning, really good at what's with composition. He's been very good at composition, and his brain definitely works in a way where he's like, he knows how this would be animated. Because I've literally had people point out how what one drew, and then the mangaka for who ended up, I need to remember his name. It's like Marata? What is your name? Hold on. Let me figure out this guy's name. Let me have a name to this. Shield artist. Yeah, the manga. Oh yeah, who drew Eye Shield 21? Murata. That is Yusuke Murata. And it seems like there's another person. Riichiro Inagaki. Okay, so there's two people. But Maruta is the one who did who draws words are hard. One Punch Man. They saw, he just happened upon it one day and was like, hey, want me to draw this? I wonder if he gave advice to one about how to draw better and stuff. That would have been cool. Apparently one was a fan of Murata. I need to get used to saying this man's name. Murata-san. Maybe I should say that. Murata-san? It feels weird not using honorifics. I'm like, I'm actually referring, like, one thing with a character, but referring to an actual person without honorifics feels weird for me. Well, you know, a Japanese person without the honorifics. I don't know about other speech patterns. I only somewhat recently became aware that there are, like, courtesy names in Chinese. In China. I'm like, I did not know that at all. Didn't know that was a thing. yeah, there's a lot of interesting how to refer to people kind of stuff going on in the world. But anyway, Murata-san helped one out in the one punch. It looks like one is able to, like, I can tell from looking at it, at least I can tell. I can see, well, maybe not tell is the proper word, but I can see it. That's like, yeah, this definitely one's style of drawing. He's always been very good at compositions. And right, I was trying to say, people have said that the paneling in, like if you were to animate the panels in the One Punch Man manga, that it'd be better animated than the actual animation that got put out. And I remember that was always a discussion because they're like, it's right there. They don't have to do any storyboarding or anything like that. It's right bleeding there. And like, it's just, you know, panels. It can't be like, even if they didn't draw it as, you know, as many frames per second, like they didn't have to draw a bunch of frames. And everyone was all very confused. And quite frankly, even people who seemed like they were more in the know of how anime was produced, they were also confused. They're like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why this is not quite as well animated when they literally have such beautiful panels right here. And I'm like, I have no idea. Layers make things look trippy when you change it. Yeah, I took away the color, so it does kind of make it look like the pillars invisible, like those old mid-1900 animes. Those the very peak of Saturday night cartoons kind of thing. With like Wonder Woman's invisible jet plane. It looks very much like that. And I'm like, huh. I guess that's one way to have something, you know, visual shorthand for it's invisible, but I'm also drawing a bit of it so you can actually see it. I also just realized we have not seen Wonder Woman's like invisible jet plane at all in any recent media. She does have one though. Well, she did. I wonder if that really has dropped by the wayside. Like, woman knows how to fly a plane. Then again, I haven't really watched a lot of the live-action DC because they're all like, look how edgy and gritty and real we are, and I'm like, where's the real? I'm like, I'll give you gritty and edgy, but I don't see how this reflects reality. Have you seen reality? We literally got a crash course in testing that out with like the Pokemon Go back in, oh, how many years ago was that? I think that was 2016. And like everyone just acted like how you do in Pokemon. Like, really? I'm like, yeah, I don't know where you live, but not everyone lives like that. What is that noise now? Balloons. Yeah, lots of balloons. That I think is I think I'm hearing a lawnmower. Why are there so many strange sounds today? Yep, more balloons. I've actually hidden some of the balloons. Actually, honest, I'm fix up some of the lines here while I'm at doing this. Hoping. What is the time? Yeah, I got the shading. I think I just need to work on the buildings now. And then there's a little bit of, I don't know. What is it? I don't know. I guess you would call it rendering, but I don't know if I'm actually rendering the drawing, you know? There's a bunch of art terms where I'm like, what does that mean? Well, maybe not really, but like I understand rendering of like a 3D object, but I don't understand what people exactly mean rendering of 2D objects. I know I've looked it up once, but I've completely forgotten. Almost. Yeah, I do want to play Octopath. I wish we had more games like Octopath Traveler style. I hope that does actually get more popular, having it's still, you know, two-dimensional, but it's like folded paper kind of two-dimensional stuff. Yeah, characters are still 2D. The environments aren't like fully, I guess they are kind of fully rendered and stuff, but I wish we had more games done like that. Oh wait, there's a cloud in front of this. That's why it's not hazy. Okay, if I grab the line here, yeah, it's because there's a cloud in front of it. Okay, the color in, and now to fix all of this up. Oop, okay, let's not draw on the wrong layer. Oh, I need to unlock it. Well, make it so I can draw where I haven't drawn before. Let's see. I am very curious about Octopath Traveler 2. I almost forgot I had it. To be honest. Almost forgot I had it. I was like, oh right, I have that. Wait, am I still on the pillar lines? Okay, no. This is the pillar lines. Oh, I didn't name it the same. This is, let me put color. Let me name it. Color. No more confusion. Okay. Okay, needs a little bit of fixing up here. Okay, and now... Oh, I did change the color. Okay, darn. Grab that. And make it 7. Yeah, that should be good. Put a little bit of shadows back because I had to erase them. Because I did an oopsie. Yeah, I don't usually watch live action things. It still remains one of my dumb little tricks, in quotes, very much in quotes tricks, that you can ask me about actors and actresses and I won't have a single clue who they are. I kind of like keeping it that way because when anyone asks about me about it, it's really funny to see the faces they make because they're like, you don't know this person, but they won an Oscar like a couple years ago. How do you not know? I'm like, oh, I don't watch the Oscars because of the popularity contest among whoever the judges end up being. Who never are like qualified to judge movies and actors and actresses to begin with. It's essentially a popularity contest that probably can be bought. Let's be serious. But the faces are priceless. Oh gosh, I never want to learn any of the actors and actresses because the faces are priceless. But I'm like, I know like Scarlett Johansson, Johnny Depp. I mean, that's kind of hard not to know. He got into the news for other reasons, but moving on. I think I know a lot of the people who've been in the Marvel movies, come to think of it. I know there's like 3 different guys named Chris. Don't ask me which one does which, because, I'm not going to put the right last name to the actual person. But I know there's like 3 Chris's. Chris Pine. One other one, and I can't think of the other last name that goes with it, but yeah, I'm like, there's so many Chris's. I think the guy who did Captain America, was it Evans? Was the first or last name? I don't know which. But yeah, I have trouble. I don't know actors. I'm not interested in live action things on the norm. The first few Marvel movies were fun, but, you know, just like... I think I stopped watching Marvel movies when Endgame came out, which is kind of funny because the music producer, well, one of them at least, is Alex Mukala, and I watch him on YouTube. Haven't seen the movie that he's probably is like the best known movie people did, that like out of all, like, oh, he did music for X. People were like, would know when you say Avengers Endgame. I haven't watched it. Don't plan to. I think the only superhero movie I kind of want to watch at the moment is Black Panther 2. Because I really liked the first Black Panther movie, but I'm also a little reluctant because the first one was good, because it was kind of its own thing, and I'm like, I don't know if the second one is, because no one really talked about it. They said it was good, though. I have heard people say it was good, but I'm also like, well, I like it? Is it like, I will like it good? But I think it's mostly self-contained. Like, geez, I'm one of the pros of the first movies was like, the only you needed to watch something else was like the cheeky little references at the end. But now it's like you have to watch like 4 other movies to understand this one movie, and all but one of them is one you actually want to watch. Oof. But it is what it is. I got no power over such things. So, that is what it is. Still, priceless faces people make when you don't know who their precious celebrity is still one of the best things ever, and I don't feel like changing it. Those faces are just too good. The utter disbelief is great. Perfect drawing references. But you know, looping back to Persona 5, I like Yusuke. I feel like I could spend an afternoon with him and just be sketching and working on art with him. It's like, it's my art buddy. We do art things together. He's such an oddball, but in this house, we appreciate Yusuke. Alright. Now I think I am going to do... This is supposed to be golden thing, so let's see about adding in highlights and shading on the golden bits. Okay, that is the base color, so let's drag it over here. There's the highlight. And then shade. I'm just gonna draw on top, because I'm a crazy person. Oh, is this actually... Yeah, it is working. Okay. Okay, it's not gonna work. I'm gonna use mechanical brush. Animal. And that wasn't random as you might think. I just saw one of my animals walking within my peripheral, and I'm just like, animal. Furry family. Furrier family. I mean, I do have fur. My ear. Like, ears. Very much on my ears. And my tail, which you can see better in the drawing. Okay, let's get... Actually, no. The highlight wouldn't be on this side. It'd still be on this. The light is coming, like, from over here. We'll get working on this. Oh, other games that I've been... It's a gacha game, but it's Twisted Wonderland. And I have heard about the recent update. I know what happens. And I watched a little bit of the end, and holy cow, Silver's VA, or Seiryu, to go with the Japanese term, for the Japanese voice actor. Holy cow, he did a good job. I felt so bad. I was like, haha, self, it's not like an actual thing. It's a person voice acting, but they're acting. Don't worry about it. Because, you know, sometimes, like, it's kind of funny, at least for me, you either know a voice actor's really bad or really good, depending if you have to tell yourself, oh, it's the voice actor. Remember, it's the voice actor doing this. Like, it... Because, I don't know, there's... Oh, well, no. I'm not sure how to put this. Like, if you've ever done something and you had to remind yourself... Well, been watching something, you have to remind yourself it is a voice actor and that they're doing a really good job, because ouch your heart. But then there's also, like, you're reminded every time a voice actor is voicing this character because they're not doing a good job. It's one of those moments. Except in this case, the positive spin, because I have to remind myself, it's just a voice actor. It's okay, but holy cow, you are earning your paycheck. It's very good. Very good voice acting. Like, I don't even know, I only have the translation on screen, but oof. Right in the heart. Lots of cute family moments, and one very, very, very distressed character. I'm not saying any spoilers for anyone who's not up to date. I don't know how far behind the English side is actually anymore. Last I heard, I think it was on chapter 6. You already get chapter 7 in English? I need to check. I don't have it on my phone because it stopped loading one day on my phone, and I'm like, because I did get it, because Leona Theodosia does the art character writing, because she's the mangaka for Black Butler, which I have mentioned before, and I will not stop mentioning Twisted Wonderland because I think it's really neat. Even if it's a gacha game, I'm like, please, maybe support it with the other media. I know there was animation in works for it, but like the pandemic happened, so obviously they probably had to readjust, but I haven't heard it's probably more like they had to do it later rather than it's gotten canceled kind of moment. So I don't know how long it's going to be before we actually get it, but we have gotten animated commercials and stuff like that, and little tiny animations for, like, it's the 3rd anniversary, here's an animation. That kind of thing. So you get to see it animated. It's awesome. And I'm really excited. I'm like, I really want this to get an anime. I want to watch it. It's got a lot of books. It has both a manga series and a light novel. And the manga's interesting. It is not, I don't think it's done by Yano, because she's busy working on the game and stuff. She is both the character designer, and she writes the character stories and the main story. So she's doing a lot of the writing. And obviously whenever a character shows up, she is designing characters. So yeah, lady is busy. Does not have the time to be writing the manga and light novels, because there's light novels. I want to get them. I think there's some out in I think at least the light novels are out in English. I know there's fans translations for both, but I think the light novels might be in English, which is cool. I would get them. But yeah, the manga's interesting because they have chapters in the game going over certain groups of characters. In each chapter for the manga uses a different version of the main character, because the main character is obviously well, you know gachas, usually there's a player character for a lot. Well, actually no, not recent gacha, come to think of it. But the player character is kind of lets you be a self-insert, or insert whatever, you know. If you want to have a more snarky character, you can. You know, it lets you choose how you want the main character to act to a little bit degree. It doesn't change the overall story, you just get some different dialogue choices, so that's all it is. It's it's not story dependent, but it is like a little bit of immersion. Just that's the angle it's going for. It's not so you can put in your own character in here and just totally like play it and have a different, like not that kind of thing. Not that kind of thing. But, let's see. So yeah, there's different U's, because that's the default name is U, YU. So Japanese name you, not you as in like you there. No, not that. A little bit confusing, but they use different names that begin with U. You know, the actual like syllable U. So there's like Yuka and Yuan. There's just all these different U's. I'm like, it's the U-verse. Because I'm dumb and have one brain cell sometimes, but I was making jokes about it in my head when I found this out. But yeah, I think for the first chapter where you're dealing with a lot of the Alice in Wonderland inspired characters, you have the typical like stoic jock character. I don't remember what chapter 2 was, because that deals with the Lion King twisted characters. Well, it's actually only 2 of them are twisted up. No, other Lion King characters are mentioned. There is one character that we think is based off of a live-action movie. That's the wolf guy. His name is Jack Howell. But yeah, it's... because it goes by dorms. There's 7 dorms and there's 7 chapters. the first one is Heartsable, which is Alice in Wonderland, heavily. I think all the characters are based on some Alice in Wonderland character for that. Savannah Claw is the second chapter, which is mostly the Lion King, like even the face kind of nameless NPCs are, you know, Lion King-esque. Jack Howell's kind of the odd man out there. He's the reason why I have to say mostly, because there's no wolves in the original Lion King kind of media, so there you go. I want to say that you is a girl? I think? Because I'm pretty sure chapter 3... What is chapter 3? Okay, let me think. Yeah, that's the Octavanel, which is the Little Mermaid-based one. So you get twisted version of Ursula and the Leech twins, who are based off of Ursula's eels, and I have a soft spot for that group of dim-witted boys. The merfolk earned a soft spot in my... just curled up right in a soft spot in my heart, and I'm like, gosh dang you, you are so problematic, but gosh dang it, you're endearing. You're endearing little jerks, you know that? And they probably smirk at me and be like, we know. And I'm like, ah. But yeah, obviously, the twin characters, the Leech twins as they're collectively known, with Floyd and Jade Leech. Like, it's also like, wow, well-written twin characters. I'm going to like them because they're definitely their own. They have their own personality. It's not like one's the reverse of another. They're both little shites. They just go about it differently. Floyd's kind of lazy, but he excels at whatever he said when he actually feels like doing something. Jade's like, well, I'm just gonna say it. He's very much like mafia secretary. Which fits because Azul, who's twisted off of Ursula, comes off as very a mafia boss-like. Like, he isn't. He wouldn't go that far, at least not on the norm. Not on the norm. He's also a little crybaby octopus. I freaking love Azul. The crybaby octopus man probably is really what sells Azul for me, because I'm like, oh, he's a little crybaby. He acts all tough most of the time. He can back it up too, but he's also a little crybaby. I'm like, I relate to Azul to some degree. It was hard not warming up to him. But yeah, that's Octavanel. That one I think has chubbier. I forgot what his name is though. Was he Yuka? I know one of the more recent chapters. Like one of the first few ones. One of them is called Yuka. Is that the first guy? I think Yukon is the girl, the lady, who gets mistaken for a guy. I think it's extra funny that if I do remember correctly, and it is chapter 2, that one of the things about Leona, the guy, he's the one based... Not me, Leona Keenscholar. I just realized that's gonna get confusing. Leona Keenscholar, he's twisted off of Scar. He's kind of the main big bad, if that couldn't be gathered, the fact that he's twisted off of Scar. But, I like him as a character. He's interesting. He's still the biggest jerk, and he infuriates me more than any of the other characters, even when he's being nice. I'm like, oh my gosh. You gotta, like, pull teeth to make this man show any amount of kindness. But one of the things that's part of the culture he's from is that you always treat women politely. Like, he's flat out, I think, tells somebody off for being rude towards a lady at one point. And I know for a fact that he's like, I do not tick off the woman from my homeland because they're bleeding scary. And he actually makes a face, like he's all wide-eyed and stuff, and usually he's like nonchalant and very like kind of comes off as this very lazy character, which he kind of is, kind of isn't. He's complicated like all the other characters. I mean, it's the Leona Theodosia character. What were you expecting? I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, so I'm like, he's definitely somebody who would probably, out of all the guys, be the most immediately polite to, you know, female characters, just because that's where he grew up. He's like, no, you respect women. You are nice to them. They are scary. And it makes me laugh because I'm like, out of all the characters, you would expect the least out of Mr. King Scholar here to be polite about such things, but no, he's the one who's like drunk in the most respect woman juice. Because he's like, they're freaking terrifying. And it makes me laugh that the freaking, it's a female you for that one, because I'm like, does he ever find out? Because that'd be hilarious if he found out of all of this trouble he caused, and it's a lady. I'm like, would he just be like, ah, shite? Just the mental image of that. This is absolutely hilarious to me. Just Leona going, oh gosh, I ticked off a lady. No wonder why she's the one that won this confrontation in the end. Ladies get shit done. Because he's used to the ladies in his area. Because it's lionesses. It's very based off of pride, and you know lionesses do most. If you know anything about lion prides, they are the ones getting the work done the most. Not to say no one else is doing anything, but like most of the heavy lifting is the ladies. So it was referencing that within the lore of the game and world and stuff of Twisted Wonderland. And I'm like, I see what you're doing, and I think that's hilarious. To be honest, it amuses me to no small degree. It's very amusing. And it also made me think of, not gonna lie, it also made me think of Wakanda with the lady who's like, move or be moved. I'm like, she's cool. I like her character. I wish I could remember her name, but it's not, I can't even remember Black Panther's name. Like, I'm sorry, I need to learn the names first before I start sticking them to characters, but I don't interact with this media all that much, so, give me a break. Please. I think the only one I remember is, I think it's Suri, the sister. I think that's because it's close to, okay, now I can't even remember the name that it's close. Suri is close to another name, so it was easier for me to remember, which is why it's really the only name I remember at the moment. Only reason. Otherwise, I'm like, ah, gosh, I don't remember any of the names. I have not learned the name in of themselves, let alone be able to put them to people's faces properly. Please give me some leeway. I'm still learning. Names are hard. Let's put a little bit of... Oh wait, no. If I put this on a separate layer, then there's something I can do. Let me do this. Put this back down. And then I want to do a little bit of toxic blur. Yeah. And I put that back down. Ta-da! Now there's a little shiny. Just for the funsies. Because sometimes things are better... things are improved by sparkles! Okay. Twisted Wonderland. I don't know if they've gone to chapter 4 in the manga. I'm pretty sure... Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. This is the lines. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm good. I don't know how far they are into that. I haven't looked that up in a bit. I do find it amusing. Very amusing. Oh, so very amusing. Having all the different U's. So... like, one of them you'll be able to have. Because it's also interesting, because in the game, we get only, like, a singular descriptor of the in-game, actual, like, the gacha game version of you. in that it's because Floyd, one of the Leech twins, calls him Shrimp because he's short. So, like, we know the you of the actual game is a very short boy. He's a short king. Because he's also, there's a lot of sassy dialogue options. And I'm like, honestly, I freaking love in-game you. Because he's simultaneously the sassiest character in the game, but he's also typically the character that's holding the brain cell and is very panicked about being the only character holding the brain cell at any given moment. You has to put up with so much. Poor kid. He used to deal with all these unruly people. Okay, yeah, I think I need to put a little more highlights where there's a highlight. I need to highlight on the skirt. How am I going to highlight the skirt? What color am I going to use? Probably just yellow. Let's put a yellow. I think that would be the last bit I need to do, really? I can put, oh, shines on the balloons, but I can do that off. Me putting shines on balloons is not going to be that interesting, I assure you. Because we are getting to the end here. So I can do that now. No, I have time. I have a little more time than I thought. I thought it was like a few minutes away, but no, I got a little more time. Let's put some shines on the balloons. Getting to the right layer is probably easiest just by grabbing that tool and clicking. Okay, that's going to be there. All right. Oh, that's the clouds. Okay. Clouds. Alright. I'll make a separate layer. Why not? Okay. Let's see. What brush should I use? Probably gouache. Yeah, probably gouache. I probably need to blur it out. I don't really want to mess with the... I haven't messed with the tools very much. I don't understand how they work too well, to be honest. That's okay, but just disclaimer, I don't know how they work very well. I'm just sort of like, I keep trying things and see if it works or not. If it doesn't, I try a different tool. I'm a simple folk, okay? Okay. Yeah, da-da-da. I really do like Twisted Wonderland. I don't know if anyone would find it surprising. Like, if you know Twisted Wonderland and me saying I like Klim, but like, Klim's one of my favorite characters, that's probably not too surprising. It's like, oh yeah, it's the cute, happy one. Of course you like them. I'm like, I like the little balls of sunshine. If they're a little ball of sunshine, and it's not like they're little balls of sunshine, there's a good chance I'll like them. Along with, you know, absolutely, I have a soft spot for Ruggy because he's a little thief boy, and of course I do. As I mentioned earlier in the stream, if they're a thief character and they're not a complete jerk and they kind of more lean to the more Robin Hood kind of tropes of the thief type characters, they're going to be one of my favorites. So to surprise to absolutely no one, Ruggy has a big soft spot, who is based on the hyenas from The Lion King. He's twisted off of kind of like all of them. So he's got, I don't remember their names, but he's very intelligent off of the one female hyena. He's got the laugh of the one who's just not all there. Actually, I think that one's called Ed. And then the other male hyena, it's kind of like he gets his wariness from, so he does have traits from all three of them. So he's kind of an amalgamation of them all. So yeah, don't don't you worry, all the hyenas are represented by one good hyena boy who actually cares a lot about his family. Because they do have things that are not based. They're definitely their own characters, is what I'm... So I'm going on a long ramble. So they are, all the Twisted Wonderland characters are their own character. But they do definitely have traits and nods to whatever their character they're twisted off of from. So, Ruggy being very family orientated is one of them. He's also, if you try to disrespect an elderly person, or at the very least, elderly woman around him, he's like, oi, don't do that. Because there's one moment he does that at, oh, I put this like all near, I guess it doesn't matter if the shines are on this layer or not. I'm just gonna keep them here. I'm like, come to think of it, it doesn't really matter. I might get confused later, but I'm almost done, so I may not come back to it. But there's a moment where King Scholar, Leona King Scholar, the one twist off a scar if you've forgotten already, is being a bit rude towards a grandmother, and Ruggy tells him off. He's like, hey, don't be rude. And Leona's like, it's, well, King Scholar to keep that, Leona King Scholar. It's just like, it's not even your grandmother. And then Ruggy's like, don't be rude. Just like, I love Ruggy. He's such a good boy. He's a little hellion, but he's also a very good boy. Okay. I think outside of doing some layer color effects, I think that's the final drawing. Got the shading on me. I need to put a shadow on the building. I'll do that off screen. That's not going to be anything too exciting. It's just make a shadow in the shape of me. Woo. Nothing too exciting there. You probably can just, if you need the drawing tip, you can just, you know, tell from looking at it kind of moment. Okay. Let me put this down and boop. Hello. hello. Okay. But yeah. Did I finish my thought? That's always a problem. What was I saying? Yeah, Ruggy's a good boy. Okay, yeah, I did. Finish my thought of Ruggy being a good boy. Even if he's a mischievous little gobshite sometimes, but hey, he's also a good boy. Gotta love the duality of characters. But okay. I don't think I have too much else to say. I'm happy the drawing's finished. That I am happy about. I knew I had at least one more stream in that drawing, and I didn't want to do it off stream, especially with all the AI stuff. People have been very much... It's definitely a worry among artists to get accused of that. So I get nervous not drawing at least most of it on screen. Ooh, while I'm thinking of it, on my Pixiv, which... Do I have that linked? Yeah, I have that linked. I have my Pixiv linked. I put up all my Ghost Trick thumbnail art, including one I did not use, so it's new. And I put up the Noodle Dragons, which I kind of redrew all over because I was having a time of it. It's not my best work, but I did get Farosh, Dinral, and Nehru. I always want to say Nidra, but it's Nehru. Completely wrong name there. Well, not completely, but it's definitely the wrong name. But yeah, that is up on my Pixiv, so if you want to see more art, you can always check on my Pixiv. I do put up my art there. I don't necessarily always draw it on stream. For instance, mainly my, it's mainly my thumbnails. I never draw my thumbnail art. I wonder if I should do that. I mean, if I plan on doing Octopath Traveler next week, Octopath Traveler 2, I can just do some vaguely Octopath Traveler Leary design. I could, you get to pick who you start as too, I think. That still is a thing in 2. I don't know too much because I have been avoiding it. I have been wanting to try it because I'm like, it's not too hard of a turn-based game and I can take it slow. It's also why I would want a whole week. I don't know. Maybe I'll play it. I don't know. It's one of those things I'm like, I haven't played a turn-based one. Oh, you know what? I also didn't check the rating. What is the rating on this game? That's what I should do. What is Octopath Traveler 2? I think it's just T. Because if it is T, that should be fine. Clickety-clack. Images. Have box art. No? Okay. Let's go rating. Yeah. Yeah, it's it never said it has all this information on this, but it doesn't have what I want. Why? Okay. Go away, pop-up. Pop-ups are so annoying. They've been annoying as far as I've been there. Okay, it is rated T. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. Just making sure. I'm like, I don't think it's rated M, but I should probably check. I'm pretty sure it's rated T. Because it can get away with a few things, because it's not... It is pixel art, so it does get a little more leeway because of that. Like, I might also think it doesn't get... I mean, it gets dark. This is like the first game. There's definitely like some ooh kind of moments, but okay, yeah. Yeah, I can play that. I don't know how much. It might be one of those things. Well, I don't usually get a chance to play games recently. Well, no, I've had more time. We'll see. We'll see. I left the ending of this week up with the art streams. Like, I said art stream, not drawing, so I might be drawing, I might be doing live 2D. But in any case, enough of me rambling. I've been spending the last 2 hours rambling. Oh boy. But yeah, this is the end of the stream. Thank you all so much for watching and hanging out and dealing with all my rambles till the end. Hope it was mildly interesting, even if I had some kind of hot takes. I don't know if I did or not. I'm not too fussed about anything, by the way. On the norm, I'm like, if you think differently, as long as you're not rude about it, like, I'm just like, fair enough. If you are rude about somebody else's take, an opinion, then I'm like, dude, have some etiquette. Have some manners. Come on, it just makes you look bad at the very least if you don't care about what other people think. You're gonna care about what they think if they think you look bad, you know? Like, at least have some... I don't know, care of your own self, of your image. If people don't perceive you properly, it's gonna cause you problems in life. But anyway, that's not a topic I can cover accurately, but anyway. Don't be rude is the TLDR of that. I am very grateful that y'all come and visit me. I was clicking through things, so I didn't notice. I got 13 views already. I'm kind of surprised. Usually I get just about under 10 for my drawing ones, because I know I'm not drawing any fan art. So I'm like, huh. Thank you for coming and swinging by. Very much appreciated. But for now, my Mises, I will end it here. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you did enjoy it. Consider subscribing if you want to hang out more. You don't have to, but, you know, you can consider. And feel free to leave comments. Even if you're, like, rewatching something, you notice something, you can leave a comment. Just don't be rude. I do have a don't be rude clause in my things. But in any case, for now, it is bye-bye, my little Mises. And I will hope I will see you anon.